Are you an entrepreneur, coach, or consultant that is trying to grow your business and personal brand with an easy video setup? A lot of times people feel overwhelmed and unsure about how to make higher quality videos because it just feels too complicated. A lot of times people's setups are working against them and not for them. My name is Garrett Schwank. I am really on a mission here to help you out by making more high quality videos. In the last 5 or so years, even since 2020, when the world shut down, we saw so much business go online and people start working from home. The way people showed up online was a whole new territory for people that came with a whole new set of skills so that way they could look professional when they showed up on video. Well, today I would love to help you with that and share with you my ALVFM framework that you can follow no matter what stage you are in your video journey to help get you the best crispy video for your setup. Let's jump into it. What's up and welcome to the Noble Frequency Podcast. My name is Garrett Schwank and I am joined here today with Mr. Kyle Kiono.
What's up?
Let's go. And we are stoked today to dive into the conversation of how to level up your video. And at the very top, I would love to just define what the heck this ALVFM framework even means. And the very first thing to know is that the order absolutely matters. So it is ALVFM for a reason. And what it stands for is audio, lighting, video, framing, and music. And so we'll jump into that. But again, the order of it does matter. But I do just want to encourage anyone that's listening that in order to get high quality and good video, it's not about having expensive gear. You don't need a $5,000 camera and a super fancy lens in order to get a high quality video. I would say, honestly, video is 80% about the knowledge of how to use the camera, and then the 20% is the actual gear itself. So let's just jump straight into it. Well, hold on. Before we jump into it, let me just say this. On that note, you know, when I was younger and I did start video initially, I did think that just buying a fancy camera was going to be the solve to getting high quality video. And I did end up getting my first expensive camera and I was super excited about it. And then I took my first couple of videos with it and I'm all excited to look back on my computer and it just looked so bad. And I was so heartbroken. Like, what the heck, man? Like, I thought I got the right gear. I got the camera this person was talking about. I got the lens, but yet the video is just not it, you know? And again, that was just kind of this confirmation to me that I'm like, man, again, at the time it was a little discouraging. I was like, oh, what do I need to figure out? You know, I thought it was just gonna be as simple as purchasing something nice to fix my problems, but there are a couple things you need to know. But now, being on the other side of that, knowing the principles on how to get high quality video, it makes me confident in any situation with any camera, even if it's just an iPhone. So I do want to encourage anyone that's listening again that it's not about the gear. It's 80% is the knowledge on how to use the gear. 20% is the camera. Sure, it'll get you that extra 5-10% to your look. But I know people that are crushing with just iPhones.
Wow.
And so don't be discouraged. Anybody can level up from what we're getting into today. All right, so let's jump into it. Number one, again, is the A, and it's the audio. And it sounds kind of funny because it's how is audio before even video? But the reality is that a high quality audio that you hear on any video that you see, even if it's on Instagram or social media, will make or break the viewer on if they're going to even stay and watch the video or not. Because if they can't hear what you're saying, if it's muffled, if it's really quiet, if it just doesn't sound good, it really just internally for some people it's just well, I'm just gonna move on. You know, we're in this era where we're trying to stop the scroll in general from people, and having good, clean audio for people to hear is like really important.
Yeah, and think about it too. You don't go to the movie theater for the big screen. You go for the sound. That's an experience.
Yeesh, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's 100% facts. And yeah, again, if you can't hear what the person's saying, it's not going to be a great video, especially if we out here as entrepreneurs or coaches are trying to help people. We're delivering educational content. Well, they got to be able to hear what you're saying. So, yeah, audio is super important. And just to kind of dive into that a little bit more briefly, there are some simple things anybody can do to level up their audio, whether they're recording from an iPhone or a camera. And so I don't want to get too deep on it, but I do want to share some practical takeaways for anyone that's listening or watching this that they can use to level up their audio like today. So a couple things. Number one, if you are recording on a camera, maybe it's a Sony camera or whatever you got, ideally you don't want to use the internal microphone on that camera. You don't want to just record it and then kind of be done. It's better for sure to use some kind of wireless mic. There are some very affordable options on Amazon. Link in the description to my gear list as well. If you have any questions on some of the gear that I use and you just want a quick go-to, check out what I got in the description. But some wireless mic options are really affordable today, especially in 2025 at the time of recording this. On Amazon, you can get something that not only connects to your camera, but also connects to your phone. So it's kind of a win-win there. And then there are obviously microphones just like this that we're using to record a podcast. So maybe you want to record a podcast for some of the video work that you're doing. These types of microphones, which are dynamic microphones, are a great option because they're very directional microphones and they block a lot of the sound that's coming out around the area. And obviously they're used in radio and podcasts all over. I'm sure everyone's seen these, whether they know the name of them or not. They're just pretty popular and they sound great. And then there are some condenser type mics or shotgun microphones that you can use to like put on your camera if you're running and gunning, or maybe you're doing like a vlog and stuff like that. But really for the sake of this conversation and for entrepreneurs that are trying to level up their video, I would totally recommend just a simple system of either using a wireless mic, or if you got a desk setup that you're going to use constantly and repeatedly, getting more of a dynamic kind of microphone is going to be great for you and it's going to keep it super simple. And there are great ways to attach this microphone directly into the camera. So if you have any questions, also hit them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to try to answer any questions you guys got. But that's kind of what I got for audio. So again, the order matters in this framework. Prioritize your audio. Number one, of course, if you're doing a video, you're talking or, teaching or explaining, or you're showing up on Zoom calls, the audio is really important. Okay, so that's number one, audio. Number two is lighting. And again, we still haven't even gotten to video, but lighting is extremely important in getting a high quality image out of any camera that you use. And so it doesn't matter if, again, I'm recording on a nice camera or an iPhone. If I know I'm going for a high quality video image, I'm going to put a good light on my subject, or I'm going to get in front of a window to give me some good natural light. Or I like to run around with this little guy, which just attaches straight to my phone and I can turn it on real quick and get some like really good lighting for videos on my phone if I don't want to just use the lighting here. But the light is super important when it comes to getting a good video image, because again, it doesn't matter if I have a $10,000 camera, but my subject isn't lit or it's just a dark room in a dark environment, that video image is just not going to look good.
Amen.
And I can't stress enough like how this is like one of the biggest hacks that a lot of people overlook in the beginning, and I totally get it. I was that person. I didn't realize the importance of lighting at all. And just how far one good light will go is like crazy. So I would just recommend, if you're someone that's maybe doing a Zoom call, or maybe you're just trying to hit like an Instagram video, just try to get a good light on your face. One of the type of lights that I recommend is just getting a light that has some kind of soft box on it. That's kind of like the technical term, a soft box, or just any kind of like diffused lighting. And you can get these on Amazon or whatever. Again, just check out my gear list if you want the one that I use. But like right now we're using something that has a nice lantern softbox, and it just helps diffuse and spread the light evenly over the subject. So there's no harsh shadows coming on my eyes, or, I'm not getting that raccoon eyes. And it's just like really flattering using any kind of soft light. So that's the first place I like to direct people to, is when they're trying to find a light, just try to get like a nice soft light, because it'll just do wonders for your video camera, and it'll just make you look really, really good. It's like a major hack. And one thing I kind of would steer away from a little bit is some of the harsher LED type lights. Like those ring lights can work and look good, but they a lot of times are really harsh and bright. I'm sure a lot of people have seen those ring lights that people use for social media. I'm not anti those, but a lot of people don't know how to use them, and they're just really bright and strong in their face, and they'll like cast shadows under their eyes, and they're just like, I don't know. And you just really don't even need a light like going that hardcore. People like throw it up to 100%. Like the lights that we're on right now, they're low key max at like 15%.
Yeah.
And you just don't need it to go that crazy. So,
and I can tell you as a professional photographer, since I deal in stills and he deals in video and moving images, right? Lighting is everything. I don't have audio. I don't have the option of audio to my photographs unless it's on Instagram and I attach it. But lighting is the mood. Lighting is everything in my profession. It's what we deal with. We paint with light.
Exactly. So again, lighting can get deep, all the different kind of lights, but not important for today's discussion at all. Again, you're just trying to level up your video. All you need is just a good light. And if you don't got the light, just try to sit in front of a window. That real natural soft light will do wonders on your face and just make you look good.
Better than nothing, right?
Better than nothing, 100%. People are still making it happen with just a window in their room. And so, no excuses. We don't need crazy fancy gear like I mentioned. Okay, moving on. So we got audio, lighting, and the next letter is the V. And now we actually are in video.
Finally.
And when it comes to video, I like to just keep it real simple. So if your goal is to get the best quality image from your camera, then most likely you're going to want to be shooting in 4K. A lot of people have heard of 4K before, and a lot of cameras these days are all coming out in 4K, whether it's your iPhone or it's a nice Sony camera maybe that you're buying. Most of them are all at 4K at this point. But pro tip, if you buy a Sony camera from the factory, they do not come from the factory already set in 4K. They come in 1080p. And so you need to just make that tweak inside your camera settings. Just go to your menu and look at what you're shooting in and just make sure you change it from 1080p to 4K. That's all you got to do. And then you're already getting the best quality image out of your camera.
Would you recommend that they shoot in S-Log, or if they have Canon C-Log or Apple A-Log?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not for what we're doing here, because we're not doing like cinema videos. But this is a good question because, there are different styles out there, and people are trying to either get like more like artsy fartsy with it and do some cool like color grading and all this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for the sake of the conversation today, for entrepreneurs or coaches or consultants or people that are just trying to level up their personal brand with video, all of that is like secondary to what's important. And right now, what's important is just getting a good quality image out of your camera. And I will say this too. A lot of people have asked me, I do not color grade my video. I don't do anything in post-production where I'm messing around with colors or anything, even really with exposure. I'll only do that if something got messed up and it was too bright or it was too dark. But that's just me bumping up exposure and highlights and
your
a
stuff
little bit of
looks
contrast.
like crispy.
Thank you, man.
I think it's the lighting.
I'm telling you,
but
you
also,
get a good microphone on a light, bro.
Yeah, the sound, the lighting, like it all just comes together.
100%.
You're definitely listening to this, man. This is some golden nuggets here.
Hey, are you looking to level up your videos? Maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed on the tech side of things and you're not really sure where to start. Maybe you got a camera already, but you don't know how to set it up correctly to get the most high quality image from it. Maybe you're even looking at this video now and you're like, hey, that looks pretty good. I wish my videos looked like that. Well, I want to let you know that I am currently offering strategy calls. Not sure how long I'm going to avail myself to do this, but I'm doing it now. And I just want to be able to help you. I want to answer some questions that you may have. Maybe it has to do with your camera settings. Maybe you're looking to level up your lighting, but you're not really sure what to buy or how to set it up. Maybe it's your microphones. Maybe you're looking for the best microphone for the type of videos that you're trying to make, whether it's YouTube videos, a talking head video, a podcast video. I want to just be able to help you answer some of your questions, give you some quick actionable steps that you can take today. You can take right away to level up your video game. All you need to do is go to the link in the description, book your call. I'd love to meet you, talk to you, answer your questions, and just get you dialed in, looking crispy and clean for your next video. That's why I'm saying the order matters. Like, get your audio, get your lighting, and then your video is gonna come naturally. Again, I could make it look great if I was just recording on an iPhone. Like, I promise you. And I've had people ask me before, what camera was that shot on? Dog, that was my iPhone. And I don't even have the newest iPhone. And it's just these principles. Just follow these principles and you can achieve something similar. And so, yeah, I don't like to color grade because for what I do, I don't like to make like crazy cinematic videos or like shooting 120 and slow down. It's just not the style of video that I do here with like work and everything like that. Nothing wrong with doing those things, but it's just besides the main point for a lot of people that are either, again, trying to coach online or they're entrepreneurs or they're doing Zoom calls. None of that matters. You just want to get high quality, good video going on for what you're doing. And all you need to do is just make sure you're shooting in 4K. And then there are like a couple settings that I like to do in the camera. So like you set it and forget it. That could be like a future episode. Maybe we kind of get into that. But for today's sake, not important. Again, that's all like secondary to what's important. And all we really need to do is just make sure our cameras are set in 4K. And the same thing applies with the iPhone. If you got an iPhone, it does not come from Apple in 4K. It comes in 1080p. So just go to your settings, scroll down to your camera app, and you'll see in there the quality settings and just change it from 1080 to 4K. I like to leave it at 30 frames per second. There's no need to shoot in 60 or 120. That will double your file size. And you only really need that if you're gonna like do slow motion video and you're trying to, again, get like more cinematic. And none of that is important for what we're doing here today or anything like that. For a talking head video, we're just talking to the camera, talking to each other. We're doing a podcast. Keep it in 30 on your iPhone, or if you're in a Sony camera or something like that, shooting 24 frames. Good to go. It's gonna look good, natural, and that actually is a cinematic frame rate for regular talking video, anyways. Yeah. So just keep it simple, and it'll keep your file size low key. If you're on Android, I can't help you. I don't know.
It's time to upgrade to Apple, right?
But I'm I know they got good phones and they got good quality stuff too. So just even if you're on Android, just find your camera settings and make sure it's in 4K, and you'll be good to go. Okay. I love it. I love it.
So quick question. Yes. You said something before we hit record today that I found was interesting and just wanted to know where you gathered the information from. And the question was, I was just shooting some BTS scenes for you on your phone, and I know that you were at 4K 30. I saw that. But I switched it over to cinematic mode just because that's usually what I do, and I wanted to get both versions for you and give you just more material to work with. And then you shot back, I actually prefer this way because, and then fill in the blank there. And then just tell me where you found the information as to how you know that more people latch onto that versus the finished, polished look.
Yeah, great question. So essentially, right before we hit this podcast, you asked me if you're just telling me you like to shoot in cinematic mode on the iPhone. And I was just kind of, I forget what you asked me exactly, but essentially, like, do I do that or not? And I was kind of saying, no, a lot of times I don't, just because of the style and the video that I'm making. And I think for the people that are watching, it's not always necessary. Now, I'm not anti-cinematic mode. Like, I think it's cool and it can make it look cool with that blurry background that you're doing. But one of the things that I mentioned to you when you asked me that is that depending on your brand, like for me, I do love to shoot high quality videos. It's actually a pattern interrupt for a lot of people, especially in 2025, that if you were to post a video on your story on Instagram or post it on your, in the feed, if the quality is actually not like super pristine, it's a pattern interrupt for someone that's watching, and it actually is a little bit more engaging than like a video that's just shot on a camera. Now, I will always say this, like storytelling is like king. So no matter what you're posting, it still needs to be a good video with either good content or education or whatever you're doing. Just because you shoot on one camera or another, you're not going viral. But
Right.
but where we are with the state of social, and especially that younger generation, like I don't know if you noticed this, but they are very much like that Gen Z, Gen Alpha is like very much like anti like millennial and above in their styles. And so when it comes to even like the way they're dressed or like messy hairs or this like nonchalant look or like when they're doing videos and stuff like that, it's just like shaky video on a camera or like on Snapchat and stuff like that. And the principle that I get out of that is like, what matters is connection. That's kind of almost a theme of this whole video is like, are you able to connect with somebody online? And there's so many ways to do that. It could be through your story, could be through the content and education you're sharing. And in this case, we're talking about like tactics, video. Like some people just relate with like, yeah, they just shot it on an iPhone, or these videos are going super viral when people are just setting up their iPhone in their bathroom and they're doing their makeup and talking to the camera. That ain't shot on some fancy camera, all this fancy gear, right? It's like there's still connection happening, or people are in their car and they're just talking, and it's like, it's not about just like fancy gear again.
Right.
And so my whole point here is just like connection comes in different facets, and sometimes shooting in just like a shaky video, if it's not even just a cinematic mode in your iPhone, like it still works because you're still just telling the story, right?
Yeah.
And
I find that really interesting because now, because my question was, which you answered, is how did you gather that information? And it was particular to Alpha and Gen Z. So if I wanted to reach millennials, or if I wanted to reach like high-end clients, not saying that Gen Z or Alpha can't be, but those who are older might prefer that buttery bokeh look from the cinematic. So if that's your target audience as a business owner, pay attention to your clientele.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it for sure. Like, who are you trying to serve?
Yeah.
And that will dictate, of course, a lot of things, your messaging and everything like that. I think that at the end of the day, this is why I initially answered by I love both.
Yeah.
I think both have a place 100%. And again, we're talking kind of about like tactics in this video, but no matter what you choose is not going to be the deal breaker as to why someone sticks around and listens to your video. It's not going to be because you were on cinematic mode or not, or you were on a $5,000 camera or not, right? It's always going to be the message.
Right.
And so I just want to just encourage people in the sense that like, don't get caught up in that minutia and let it stop you from like showing up and making videos. Do what's right, do what's comfortable for you. If you've never even heard of cinematic mode and you're listening to this, like, what the heck does this mean? And how do I get to that? Like, just don't even worry about it because it doesn't even matter. But if you do like to be a little artsy with it and you like that bokeh look and you want to serve that client, then I'd encourage you, go for it. Make your brand kind of look like that,
That's cool. I like that. Well, I love the encouragement. This guy's all for it. So like I said, golden nuggets over here.
Hundo P. All right. So the next thing on the framework, ALVFM, is so we hit A, audio, lighting, L, V, video, and then the fourth letter is the F, and that stands for framing. And so what I like to say when it comes to framing is essentially just give yourself a little bit of room and keep yourself in the center. Like real simply, if you're shooting on your phone or a camera, we were kind of talking about this briefly before as well, but let's say you're doing like a talking head video and I'm looking directly in a camera, just try to put yourself in the center of the frame and make sure your head's not like super close to the top. You can at least do like a fist, and your hand's not getting cut off. So that way you have room if you like move around and you go up and down a little bit, like people kind of move when they talk sometimes.
Some breathing room.
And just make yourself like center in the frame. And there's there's a couple things you could do to just make sure you're centered. But before I say that, I mention it in this framework again because it's kind of more like a high quality, crispy video framework. Like you really just want pretty much like 99% of the time, you're going to want your subject just straight up in the center and not off to the side. But I will mention this, I'm sure a lot of people have seen documentary type videos where if you actually like notice like in interviews or documentaries you've seen on just like whatever, a lot of times when the person's being interviewed, they are actually sitting on either the left third or the right third of the screen. Mm-hmm. They're not in the center of the screen. And that is more of like a cinematic interview type of look. And again, that kind of gets into like being a little bit more like artsy and cinematic with it, which is awesome and it has its time and place. But I would say for most videos that we're doing as creators or entrepreneurs and coaches, like you don't need to do all that. I mean, even in this case, right? I could have made the decision of making it look more like that because we're two people, we're having a conversation, but I just chose to keep us in the center because it just like doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. And most people aren't going to notice that. What matters is if your head gets cut off because you move and then it's like, what the heck happened to this dude's forehead, or whatever. And so just keep it simple, just shoot in the center. And one of the things that will help people with this, again, even if they're shooting on a camera or your iPhone, you can actually turn on the grid in your iPhone. Mm-hmm. So if you go to, your camera settings, just click on the little grid and you'll see that there will be lines that show up on your phone. And then you could just center your shot. There's lines that go horizontally and vertical. And you can just make sure the head is close to the center, the top part of the center. And another thing you can do is you could turn on the level in the iPhone.
Yeah, lifesavers.
And if you set your phone up on a tripod, you'll know if like it's actually a little bit more like this or like this. And then, a little line pops up and you just bring it back to the center and then, you're locked in straight and your framing is dialed in, you know what I mean? And you'll just be good to go. But I can't even tell you how many videos I've seen of people that are just like, just a little like off and like, off centered and stuff like that. Or you're getting cut off and it's like, just get that framing right. And then like you're dialed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we don't got to make it more complicated than it has to be. But if you want those little bonuses, turn the grids on in your camera and your phone, turn the level on in your camera and your phone, and then you'll just be ready to go every single time.
I love that.
All right, sweet. Now, moving on to the fifth letter. So we're ALVF, and now we're into M. And the M stands for music, and I kind of do like / like sound effects. Mm-hmm. And the power of music and sound effects is actually so massive when it comes to video and storytelling. Using different music can totally shift the emotion and the mood in a video or a shot like crazy.
100%, dude.
Like if you listen, like if you think about like your favorite movie and you think about maybe you even know the soundtrack to that movie. Like Interstellar is super poppin'.
Yeah.
And that song is even used all over social media, but that Hans Zimmer score like made that movie what it is. Like, don't get me wrong, the writing was phenomenal, acting, everything you could say, but man, with that dude's music on that, like it made you feel something.
Hey, you ain't lying. Music is known as the universal language because it directly communicates with the heart and it will tug your emotional strings. I can't remember if it was Socrates or Plato, but it said, the walls of a city will shift and change along with the music because it changes generations. And so that's how important music is.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So music is powerful when it comes to like video and storytelling. And when it comes to the videos that we're making here, even again, as like entrepreneurs or, again, I keep repeating myself, coaches or whatever. But the reason I want to keep emphasizing that is because we aren't directors of like a Netflix movie or like anything like that, right? We're not going that crazy with it. But so then it's like, okay, so Garrett, like, okay, if we're not doing that, then like, why is music important? And so a couple other things that I wanted to share about that is there are some really easy ways for people like us to incorporate music and or sound effects in your video. And one of the ways I love to do it is if you are, number one, maybe you're just making a little behind the scenes type of video of whatever you're doing for an Instagram story. You can always add a music sound through Instagram right there to set the mood. Or if it is a reel that you're adding as a post to your Instagram, you can, we all know you can add a song there. That's like that really helps like a lot. And if you have a podcast, you can, in your intro of your podcast, a lot of times people put like music underneath the talking or in the intro or whatever. And that also kind of helps set the mood and the vibe of what you're doing. And so there's a lot of ways we as just entrepreneurs can use use music in our video in subtle ways. Again, we're not going crazy with it, but there's ways that we can do it. And the other thing I wanted to say about sound effects as well is that sound effects can also be super powerful in storytelling and in intros of podcast type videos. Now, again, this kind of gets a little bit more artsy, but if you go listen to like your, probably one of your favorite podcasts, you'll notice in the intro that there are some sound effects happening. Maybe there's like a sub drop, like a boo, or like or there's like a riser, right before maybe they cut off. Or just go back to the beginning of this podcast video and listen to the sound effects I put in. Most of the time, you don't notice them, and you're not supposed to notice them. You're supposed to just feel them.
Yeah.
They're creating tension and release, and they're like directing the emotion. And this is just, again, to level up and connect with the viewer in another way. And that's why actually I have it at the very end of the framework here, because it's one of the latter things that you really need for high quality videos. It's not as important as audio or lighting.
Right.
But if we're talking about high quality, crispy videos, like just adding that music and that sound effects can literally take a video from like, even if it's a great video, like an 8 out of 10 to like a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, all of a sudden you just made the viewer or the listener feel something by the music and the sound effects you added. I know I'm kind of yapping here, but I just had another thought that came into my head. I was just making this video yesterday, and I was actually just like a video recap that I made of going out to Cancun to visit one of my best friends from high school. It was his wedding. He had a wedding out there on the beach. And anyways, long story short, I just made like a quick little like vlog type recap video of me and my wife going out there. And I had this one song in it in the background that was like pretty cool. And it was like a vibey song. It had like a good beat and it was like tight. And then I thought about like my boy, Tyler, and the music that he loves and the music that we loved when we were in high school. And he still like loves that stuff a lot. And I still do too, but he listens to it way more than I do. And he loves like bands and stuff like that, like Boxcar Racer or like Blink-182. And that's like his jams and those kind of styles. Again, I love it too. And I was like, man, like the story that I was even telling in this video was really having to do with just friends that are close at a point in your life, and then we all grow up and there's distance that's created either with just natural life progression of things, people getting in jobs, people moving away. In this case, he moved to another state, so we haven't been able to spend as much time together. And all that being said, I was just kind of telling this story about how it's important to still make time for the people that you care about. It's always worth it. And I ended up putting in the song I Miss You by Blink-182. And I just put that underneath, like, again, the video and the talking of what I'm saying. And I kid you not, like, the entire emotion of the story that I was telling, like, changed like crazy.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, like, this is the song right now.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds kind of funny, maybe a little cheesy to some people, but it came from like a real natural place of like, again, number one, the music that we used to love and listen to, he still loves, I still love. And it really is like in line with the story that I'm telling, and everything just like changed. And anyways, I just thought I would share that because it was
I think
kind of
that's
dialed into what we're talking about.
That's perfect, dude. I heard this sermon once about like they were talking about how King David was a musician, like a master musician, created instruments and wrote songs. Obviously, in Psalms, we have those that say like a direction for the musician or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this sermon, the preacher was talking about how music is good, but it also can be dangerous. Like he was talking about how Lucifer had like flutes built into his being, and he was made for music because he ushered in God's presence and whatnot. But he said that music has like you can put your spirit into it. So like you it's like an intent, so that the one listening to it, it's a spiritual consummation, like consumer. You consume the intent, which is why what you just explained mattered. Like you had a spiritual experience with it. I know it's weird because it's Blink-182, right? But like music is spiritual. Like God created us to be spiritual beings, so we experience things on a spiritual level.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. That's a great point. That's like a
deep.
deeper point. If you really think about it.
Right.
But again, it kind of goes back to what you're saying too about like music being this like universal language.
Yeah.
That like just people connect on, even if you don't speak the same language as somebody, but you're listening to the same music.
You can feel the same
like you
thing.
still feel the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It gets deep for sure. And yeah, as creators and business owners and people that are making content online, again, it's not something I don't think we need to overthink. But if we're trying to add that extra sauce, like
Salt Bay.
yeah, like Instagram or TikTok, whatever you're using is giving you these tools already. Just add the music, add the emotion, keep it low key, right? We don't need to blast it. The talking is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But keep it underneath, use it to your advantage. Again, if you're doing a podcast and your intros or however you're doing your thing, it can be powerful. And so that is the framework, ALVFM. Again, just a quick recap: audio, prioritize your audio for talking videos; lighting, prioritize that lighting before you record or focus on the camera. Then comes the video, make sure you're in 4K. Framing, just be centered, turn the level on, and music or sound effects, add a little something, a little spice, take it up to that 10 out of 10 type of vibe. And if you just kind of run that play and run that framework, anybody that is listening to this can get going with great videos. Again, no matter if you're using a fancy camera, if you're just using your iPhone, you can absolutely win with that framework.
That's wonderful. We're talking about golden nuggets right here.
Yeah, so I would just encourage anybody, a lot of people ask me like, Garrett, like what camera should I buy? Like I'm trying to get into this and that. And like what's like the best camera? Like what's the best camera right now? Like now we're in 2025. We're not in 2024 anymore. Like da. And the answer has literally remained the same for years at this point for me. And the answer is the best camera is the camera you know how to use.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's that $5,000 camera or if it's just the phone that's in your pocket. If you know how to use it correctly and you use these principles that I've shared, you're golden. Like you're gonna be great. And again, to encourage everybody, people are crushing it online with just the phone in their pocket. So we have no excuses. Like we don't need a loan from the bank to buy some crazy stuff and then we're gonna make it online. Then our business is gonna be booming. Then we're gonna be able to make the videos we want. Like we don't need it.
Yeah.
People are doing the thing. And something that comes to my mind too is just like, if that's what you want in your business or you want to grow into that, like that's amazing. But where we are today is just like working with what we got. And so something that comes to mind is actually what Jesus shared with us in Matthew 25. And it's the parable of the talents.
Hit me.
Right? And it's just essentially, in that story, he talks about, we could get deep into it, but the line that I'm thinking about right now is essentially where he says, you've been faithful with a little, and so you'll be given a lot, right? And I think that is so true for us in our journey and our businesses. If we're just starting out, like maybe you just got all you got to work with is the phone. Like just be faithful with what you got. Like learn the principles, apply the principles, and more will come from that. And I know there's like a lot there we could talk about, but I know
It gets deep, dude.
it gets deep. I don't know. Is there anything you want to hit on that too?
Bro, the movie Field of Dreams. I don't know if you've seen it. Kevin Costner. If you build it, they will come. No?
No.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Okay, well, watch the movie. All right.
But I mean, I've heard that line for sure.
Yeah, that's
forever.
Yeah,
but I don't
it
know.
really hits on this point though. If
Okay.
you just simply create it, they will come. And just do it in faith and show up consistently. Discipline. You know what I love about the Bible? Everything, right? But it also hits. And my brother sent this. My brother is my coach for working out and stuff.
Okay.
Got me through my 75 hard. But he sent this verse that said that discipline is not enjoyable, but it's got a huge payoff. And in contrast, the Bible doesn't shy away from saying that sin is pleasurable, but the outcome, the wages of sin is death.
Yeah.
And so discipline is never fun in the moment. And so when you get discouraged filming, just know it's discipline. Keep going anyway. You got 2 views? Keep going, keep posting. Don't stop. Do not stop. In fact, somebody said this on TikTok. Every post that you create is literally a lotto ticket. You don't know if it's going to hit or not.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
so if you're doing this for your business, you are posting a lotto ticket for your business.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I love it. I love it. All right. Any questions or any thoughts that maybe I didn't explain, or was there anything that was like confusing?
You have I'm very impressed with how you just, like when I arrived here, you were still working on like just making sure you hit your points. And I just love the discipline, talking about discipline that this man has. And, I do have questions. I love what you hit because it hit what needed to be said. Now I have questions as a business owner myself because I do professional photography. So it's similar, but a different realm. So I love the input, and I appreciate that you're giving this what I'm assuming to be communal information. So it's for free. You're putting it out there.
Absolutely.
Right? There's no paywall for it. But I want to know, if I'm filming on my iPhone, do you recommend getting a gimbal? Do you recommend having it shaky? Because I know you mentioned that you want to interrupt the pattern. Because I'm so like in my field, I do photography. I'm very much OCD on the frame. So that hit very much like to my heart when you were talking on that. But also now I'm trying to grasp and just hold on to that golden nugget about like pattern interrupt. Am I being too polished? Am I like, do I need to introduce a little bit of chaos?
So it kind of goes back to what I said, whereas like I am a fan of both. So, but the first thing you just asked me is, do I need to get a gimbal?
Yeah.
And the answer is definitely not.
Okay.
You don't need to spend money on a fancy gimbal to get a fancy video. But, if you enjoy that and you have the money and you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially with what you do, you are a photographer, and anyone that's listening as a business owner everyone's in a different field, and most people don't need anything like that. Like I said, people are crushing on their phones, or they're just setting up a camera. They're getting on Zoom, right? We don't got to get like extremely complicated with it. But if it helps, like to me, it's always about like, do the tools serve what I'm doing? One of the things I said in the intro of this video is like, a lot of times people are stuck and feel overwhelmed because the tools don't serve them. They have to serve the tools, and they have to set this up and do this and do that. And it's just more complicated to the equation. It's like, dog, I'm just trying to share a video and help people out in my business and educate people, right, in what they're doing. Like, I'm not speaking about myself. I'm speaking for other people that are trying to just share information and get consistent online. And so personally, keeping it simple and eliminating the barriers to entry is something I encourage a lot of business owners or entrepreneurs or even some artists that I've worked with. Like, don't even like, I'm talking like music artists, like don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Why? Because it's about the connection and it's about the storytelling, like over anything. Everything else is like just additional. And if it can serve you and you're comfortable using it and you know how to use it and you can whip it in, like do it. That's why I say I'm a fan of both. But if it's going to get in the way of you showing up consistently, getting your video shot done, taking time away from your business because you got business work to do. Again, we're not like all just full-time videographers. Like people are running businesses, right? So if it's not going to serve you, then just like don't do it.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay, follow-up question. Do you offer maybe like a, a master class for business owners that are interested in maybe just learning more in depth the technicalities of it, the like what platform should I post on? Should I be posting horizontal or vertical? Like maybe they want to get more technical. Do you have an offer?
I do,
Okay.
yes. Right now, I run a program with specific people that qualify, that want to work with me directly, and essentially want to learn how to show up consistently on social media in their business. And I don't like to get extremely technical because like 99% of the time, it doesn't serve most business owners and
Mm,
entrepreneurs or artists that I work with to get deep into cinematography and color grading and
mm-hmm.
gimbals and balancing because like that just doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
As far as the people that I work with and serve, but for people that are trying to figure out how to how to show up consistently, they know they need to build their business online. They need to be there. They're trying to build their personal brand. Yes, that would be like the perfect type of person that would qualify to be in the program that I offer.
Okay. So here's two scenarios or two types of business owners. Let's say myself, where I'm the operator, and really I don't have any employees unless I have like a hired help to like carry my bag, like a caddy, if you will. But then you have your other business owner who maybe owns a couple restaurants or whatever. Um, let's say, does your advice change based on how big the company is?
No, because what I always like to teach from is a place of principles and not just trendy things to do in 2025.
Okay. So I love that you like to keep it simple, because I'm sure a lot of you watching are stressed out, and maybe you're just starting, or maybe you're in the older crowd and you're like, I don't understand this technical jumbo stuff, like my parents, where they answer the phone on iPhone and it's like, hey, forehead, you know. Um, I like that you keep it universal and simple, and I think that's going to help a lot of you out, really. The other question I had was, can I record one piece, let's call it a piece, and use that universally on every platform?
Yes, but I do believe there is a way to do it and there is a way not to do it
Okay.
because this is could like a whole nother podcast for another time. So
Yeah.
I'll keep this real short and simply say that absolutely there is a strategy to show up one time and still be multi-present without having to do a bunch of extra work. So I'll just say that.
Okay. That's cool. So, okay. Again, simplified. I like that. It keeps things smooth and buttery, gliding through it. What was the other question I had? I think we touched on quite a bit. Um, how often should one be posting for their business?
Yeah, it's a great question. I believe that you should post a minimum of well, first of all, I always like to like preface this with like what the goal is with the business, but I'll just speak generally here. I think at a minimum, if you're trying to use social media to garner organic leads into your business, you should be showing up minimally one video a week on YouTube and at least 3 to 5 times reels or posts on Instagram.
And
And then maybe 2 to 3 stories every single day.
what if, like, I'm just speaking from my mom's point of view. She's always stressed out about like, what if the doubts cloud in, right? How would you advise somebody who has doubts over, I don't really want to be on camera, or I don't think I'm good enough, or I can't think of what to post, I don't have content, what do I do? What's your advice on that?
Yeah, so I'll just say this. I'll say the easiest thing to do is to hop in the program and I'll just tell you exactly what to do. I don't really want to get crazy into that in this conversation right now because I want to keep it focused on the how to show up and get crispy video.
Okay, yeah.
And in no way am I trying to gatekeep. That could be a future episode that I'd love to share with everybody. But I just want to, to respect the viewer and the listener's time, I just want to keep it focused on this conversation. More than happy to talk about that at a later time. And I mean, there's so much I'd love to say about that, but let's save that one for a later time. And one thing I want to mention briefly for people, you know, I introduced Kyle in the beginning of this episode, but I didn't say too much about who Kyle is, and I just want to share with everyone that Kyle and I actually just met. It's been like a couple weeks now, or a week and a half. We met at an event in Orange County. It was an event put on by Myron Golden, if anyone's familiar with him, and one of my coaches and mentors, who is a guy by the name of Omar El Takori, and he was the host of the event, and that's how I found out about it. But anyways, not to bore you with the details, kind of just met. We're new friends. And it was really awesome to have you on this podcast.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
Love to have you again if you want to dive into more topics. For me, it was really helpful. And having someone else process and ask me questions through was massive.
Yeah,
so
dude.
Just want to thank you for your time.
Absolutely,
dude. I
man.
Appreciate it.
I'll keep it on topic.
No, you're good. You're good. I just try to show respect to the people.
Yeah, no, I got it.
But hey, there's more to come. You know what I'm saying?
So, I appreciate your having me, dude. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's been a blessing. 100%.
There you go.